What's the good word, guys? Hope you're doing well. It's a great morning here in Raleigh, North Carolina. About to head off to work. I thought I would teach you a song, The Old Rugged Cross. And the purpose of teaching this song, first and foremost, is to glorify God because He alone is worthy. But the second reason is to help you with slow songs. I get a lot of questions from people saying, how do you play certain slow songs? A lot of times the strumming on the fast songs, you can really get into it and keep it going with that 4-beat kind of pattern. But with the slow songs, it's a little more difficult. So I thought I would teach this. The Old Rugged Cross has a... Let me play through it and then I'm going to explain to you how you play this song as well as other songs that are a little slower. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest and best in a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay bare. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. So what I'm doing there, this is excuse me, a strumming pattern where what you do, you're emphasizing at the chord change. You're doing a full strum down, and then you're doing a slow kind of with the bottom, say 3 to 4, maybe even the bottom 2 strings, just kind of going up and down until the next chord change, or the next first note of the 4-beat pattern. So, on a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. So again, you're doing the whole song is G, C, D, and you can see my modified. Type in Matt McCoy first 4 chords to see a close-up of these, but it's G, C, D. You can see how little I'm moving those. You might have been taught G, C, D. That requires a lot more movement. And as I've stated in my other videos, I used to really struggle going to that C chord, from D to this C. So I started modifying it, playing like a praise and worship type C of this right here. The G, just moving the top 2 strings down, top 2 fingers down, G to C, and then D. With that D, you can play pinky on or pinky off, either way. Right there. So the strum's going to go on a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. But I love that old cross. And another thing I just kind of noticed, instead of a quick down, I'm kind of letting the pick slowly go down the strings to give, it kind of points out each individual note. Right there. So it's going to be a little bit slower and help with your timing. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. And I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. You'll see me also throw in that kind of G, C, G. That just kind of switches up. And exchange it someday for a crown. Just kind of that boom, 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 back in the kind of that offbeat chord there. So work on those slow songs with that first down strum. Goes. There is none like like you do. 'Cause I could search for all eternity long and find everyone like you. So on these slow songs, you can see here, like I say all the time, I'm still a beginner myself. I teach what I know. But a lot of times, even figuring out the chords, if I don't have them in front of me, I still have a hard time hearing that. So my point being, even as the instructor to the instructee, so to speak, don't get down on yourself if you struggle with that. I do all the time. I can't hear a lot of times whether to go to that C or D or G, and it kind of, if I don't have that chord sheet in front of me, it's easy to get mixed up. So don't beat yourself up too much there. As long as we're praising God, He knows our hearts, and He's getting the praise He deserves. So work on that on your slow songs. You're gonna go down. Yeah, start out without even playing a song. Just work on your... Hope this can help you guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into the devotion. So for today's devotional, let's look at Mark chapter 8, verses 24 and 25. This story is about Jesus healing a blind man, and I heard my dad talk about this a few months back, and it really had an impact on my life. It says, Christ says, it says, when he spit on his eyes and put his hands on him, he asked him if he saw anything. And he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. This is the blind man saying that. Then he, being Jesus, put his hands on his eyes again and made him look up. And he was restored and saw everyone clearly. The question I want to ask you today, when you look at the problems in the world, and whether it's world hunger, whether it's the whole thing of sex slaves and these women sold to these different countries, whether you look at the torments going on, whether you look at just the poverty all around us, do you see men as trees or do you see men clearly? Because when Christ touches your life and you're truly in tune with the Spirit and trying to live the life that Christ wants you to live, and you get in His Word, you begin to see men clearly, not just as trees walking. As Mark 8 verse 24 says, I see men like trees walking. And I want to challenge you today, sometimes we look at world missions and look at these underdeveloped countries and see them as trees walking, just blank faces, people out there that God chose to bless me, but He chose not to bless these people. And that's just not the case, and that's not the life that Christ called us as Christians to live. He wants us, as in verse 25 says, to see men clearly. I can promise you that little boy and girl over in Nicaragua right now, they're just as hungry as you get. And they go days without meals. And if we can do a tiny little bit to see their needs and meet their needs, not only will you have a huge impact on their life, I can promise you from experience God will change your heart and do so much to make you see men clearly, as it says here in Mark. So my challenge to you, and I've been doing this the last few weeks in these videos, begin to see things bigger than yourself and bigger than your own personal spiritual walk. I support Heart to Heart Mission. They did a great job. I support Compassion. I have a child that my wife and I have adopted through Compassion that we give to each month. And then of course I support my local church and my family ministry. And I want to challenge you. I know many of you have already given, and I can't say thanks enough. That money will be used for God's kingdom, I can promise you. I'm going back to Nicaragua in 2 weeks with my father again, and I'll get some more video footage and different things to show you guys. But go to acousticselection.com/give. If you want a place that I can promise you you're using your money for the kingdom, every dime of it, You can read about the different programs, the hospital feeding program. These women come from hundreds of miles and literally sleep in the streets while their sick child is out there in the hospital, and we have a chance to feed them and show them spiritual helps and encouragement, and show them the gospel. The trash dump is an unbelievable issue where these kids chase these trash trucks, waiting for their next meal, and it'll break your heart, people. But God's worked on me, and I think if you saw it one day, I hope to take a group, start getting people from my YouTube channel and take them down. We're building a mission house to see everything I talk about, to see if you want to get involved, or maybe your church wants to get involved. And I've had some people write me about that, and I'll be getting you information soon. But thank you guys that have donated, the people that have talked about doing the Change for Change program. Thank you so much. I really hope, what I want, my goal in the future is, we have a board, this Project 14 board that serves Nicaragua and the rest of Central America. And it's all pastors and myself. And my goal in the future is to have where my YouTube channel, which is part of my ministry, can chip in, and we can be, as a church, and the people that take these lessons and have maybe grown spiritually from something I've said or done or shown them, that we can sort of form our own type church that, along with your local church, we can give and really do a lot down there in Nicaragua and the rest of Central America and world missions like God's called us. So please be praying about that. Thank you guys so much for the encouraging notes. And don't ever forget my favorite Bible verse, John 10:10. For Christ came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So go out and enjoy yourself today and live knowing that Jesus has died on the cross to set us free from whatever you're going through. So keep that in perspective. Hope you guys have a great day, and God bless you.